Good evening. This is Derek Maxim calling the Lakeville Board of Health meeting to order. It's Wednesday, October 7th, 2020 at 6 p.m. In accordance with Governor's Order suspending certain provisions to the open meeting law relating to the 2020 novel coronavirus outbreak emergency, the October 7th, 2020 meeting the Board of Health shall be physically closed to the public to avoid group congregation. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to www.facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Facebook account to view this meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to be viewed at a later date at http://www.lakecam.tv/. Is there anyone recording this other than LakeCAM? I hear no one. Let me make sure everybody can hear me. All members first. Bob Palucci, can you hear me?
Derek,
Yes, can you hear me, Bob?
I lost you for a minute.
All right, I'm just making sure everybody can hear me. You back now, Bob? You there?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Do you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Chris Pratt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Edward Cullen, Board of Health agent.
I can hear you.
Okay, it looks like we have Tom Morris on the line from Zenith Engineering. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, Darren Michaelis from Foresight Engineering. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. Do we have anybody else on the line that I'm not aware of? Anybody yet? Or this is it? Okay, I hear no one else so far. We'll go to first on the agenda, 54 Montgomery Street. Meet with Foresight Engineering to discuss local upgrade approval. I'll turn it over to you, Darren, for an introduction to what we're looking at.
Thank you. Here on behalf of the Corbett's, I live at 54 Montgomery Street. As you can see, we went out and not the best soils. We had a 60-minute perk rate. The soils did not change all the way down to 9 feet, which is about as far as we could get with the mini that we had. In order to stay out of the 100-foot buffer, we're showing a smaller system tucked into the tree line. It is a pressure douse system with a fast treatment system before it. And that's the reason I'm coming before you to ask for a groundwater variance, because we are offering up a fast here to shrink the leach field down. And I'd like to keep the mound as low as possible. It's already 2.5 feet above grade. So I'd like to not have a 3.5-foot mound in front of this property if we could. And with the fast system, I think we're getting very good treatment, and that's a perfect reason to grant that variance. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Darren. Couple questions. You going with the internal microfast system, that's the one you want to stay with, the one that's inside the tank?
Yes.
That's the one that's post. Okay. Are you guys still having trouble hearing me?
You're breaking up a little bit, Derek, but I can make out what you're saying. Yes, we're going with the internal and the H20 tank for the weight due to groundwater.
Okay. All right, if I do lose you, I'm going to have to get off and call in, but I'm going to just try to stick with this. I don't have any other comment on this one by the location and everything else. That was my only question. The blower feed, that has to go up
Eric, we lost
on the
Bob.
blower. Are we going to be able to get that at that remote location you want? You're not allowed to go up and down on those, right?
Yep, I think it's pretty well treed right there. I think that'll
Okay.
be a good spot for it.
Bad reception night, because I'm
Yep.
having.
Derek, we lost Bob.
No, he's
Can you
back.
hear me
Okay, I'll
now?
go to you, Patrick.
I hear Bob.
Okay.
Bob, get back.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
we'll
think the
continue.
wind's messing with the internet tonight.
Yeah, we've got the blower unit stuck over to the opposite side of the house into the tree line, so that they shouldn't hear that humming noise. And they have horses on the other side of the house and huge horse corral, so it's definitely pointed away from where they hang out.
Okay. All right, that was my only question. Chris, do you have any questions for Darren?
Sure. Dan, did you try to maybe go up beside the house because you got a little bit more grade to play with there?
As far as elevation, we know that area. The Powderly Farms are next door. In my 25-year career, I've been out there 4 times searching for soils, and also all the way down Kingman Street, which is right to the west of us. And we've never found anything but exactly what I found out there, which is complete clay, 60 minutes an inch. And the only perk that we were able to get for the Powderlies is way out front by Montgomery Street, which is why most of these systems are way out front by Montgomery Street.
Okay.
So yeah, I see it's a huge piece of property, 6.5 acres almost, but I saw no reason when I've already been all out behind this property, all beside it on both sides, and we've never found anything.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because up by, you get the 102 up beside the house. I wasn't sure if it could blend it a little bit better there.
It's just a natural grade. It would just be higher. I'd have to call the groundwater up there probably around 100. So I'd still be the 2.5 feet out of the ground. It's definitely a perched water table. It's not a true water table.
Yeah, that was about all I had.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Bob Lucci? Comments, questions?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I know what Darren's talking about, that whole area. That's why it didn't get developed. The materials are just garbage, so that's probably the best he's gonna get, would be my guess.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Edward, would you like to make any comments? I read your comments for the meeting. Would you like?
No further comments. Like I said, I agree with both Bob and Darren. They are larger materials. The fast system will definitely help. He's got the 50% reduction, and the only question is, should he also get the 1 foot reduction?
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with the 1 foot, especially in this slow soil.
Yeah, and it's actually only a half a foot. If you look at the plan, it's only a half a foot. I kept it up a little bit higher due to that just safety factor of that perched layer there. So it's really a 3.5 foot variance to water table if you look at the numbers on the plan.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And there was no to be notified, correct?
Nope. Correct.
Okay. Do we have anybody on Facebook that would like to comment on this?
No comments on
I see
Facebook.
no one. Okay. So I'm fine with it. Anybody like to make a motion on this one?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, thanks.
I'll make a motion. We approve the sewage disposal system upgrade design at 54 Montgomery Street with the 1 variance to the from 4 feet to 3 feet.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Bob Lucci,
Aye.
Chris Spratt,
Aye.
Eric Maxim, aye. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Darren.
Hey, Darren.
Okay, next on the agenda, 7 Charbonneau Avenue. Meet with Zenith Consulting Engineers to discuss requests for local upgrade approvals. I'll turn it over to Tom Morris from Zenith Consulting Engineers.
All right, thank you guys. So this is a repair we're doing on Charbonneau. We're asking for 5 local upgrade approvals. 2 of them are the system and the tank from the surface water supply. 1 from the system to the existing well on our lot. We were able to stay outside of 100 feet from all the abutting wells. Reduction from 2 to 1 deep holes and the use of a sieve test due to high groundwater. So I think just based on all the setbacks on the lot between the different wells and the surface water supply, it's the best spot we can stick it in. Anywhere else, we're gonna be too close to something else. And we're as far away from our well as we can get.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I looked at it also, and like you said, there's wells everywhere. You really don't have any other spot you could really put it to make it further away from anything. I didn't have any questions on this one. Chris Pratt, any questions on this one?
No. Yeah, I was kind of a little worried. I was thinking about all the wells and stuff. It made me think of that. I don't think it kicks in any of them, but there's that one little thing about, upgrading to IA systems if you're too close to water, but I don't think it kicks in any of that.
Yeah, I don't see, we're 4.4, 2 feet above the water table. And it's only within one well of less than 100 feet, and that is their own well.
Right. It needs a third one to kick in, I think. I'm good.
Okay, Bob Palucci, questions on this one? Did we lose Bob?
Lost Bob again.
Yeah, okay. We'll see if he can get back in. I'll ask Ed. Ed, are you there? Do you have any comments on this one?
No, like I said, he is making every effort to stay away from the neighbors' wells, and he's downgrading of the neighbors' wells too. I think that's the main concern there. He's downgrading of his own well as well, so it is 85, but it's flowing towards the pond. And although the new system is a little closer to the pond, it's a lot higher, so that's a considerable improvement. Bob's back.
Would this require a deed restriction too?
I think it's 3 bedrooms. Yeah, 3 bedroom.
Yes, I believe your question would be deed restriction 3 bedroom, right? Because you're within a pond, you don't have 400 feet to the pond. Am I correct?
I couldn't hear that if that was a question for me.
Okay. We're just clarifying, this is going to be a 3-bedroom deed restriction. I think that was Chris's question.
Oh, yes.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Bob, you back? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm back and I can hear you. Just so you know, my lights keep flashing, and every time they do, when a big wind comes, I'm losing you. So if I end up going out and I'm out of the meeting, just keep going without me. But if you have anything that you don't agree on, you should just continue it, I guess. So we don't, just give them a note because we can't vote on it. But as far as this plan I'm on now, I'm okay with this.
Okay, thank you, Bob. And we had no abutters notified. Am I correct with that, Tom?
No, I don't think any abutters were notified because we don't affect any of the wells or any setbacks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, looks like we're all set with it. Is there anyone on Facebook that would like to comment on this one? I see no comments on Facebook. Okay. Somebody like to make a motion on this one? Do you have the paperwork in front of you, Chris?
Yep, I got it. Make a motion to approve the subsurface sewage disposal system upgrade at 7 Charbonneau Ave with the 5 variances. And I believe we agreed a 3-bedroom deed restriction too, right?
Yep, I'll second that with the 3-bedroom deed restriction.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Bob Palucci,
Aye.
Chris Pratt,
Aye.
Derek Maxim, aye. Okay, thank you for that. Tom. We'll go to next on the agenda.
Thanks, Tom.
64. I think he's staying with us.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, I'm the next one too.
Next two, yeah. 64 Lakeside Ave, meet with Zenith Consulting Engineers to discuss local upgrade approvals and deed restriction. I'll turn it back over to you, Tom.
Yeah, so this one, there's been two designs submitted. One for a 5-bedroom design and one for a 3. And what the client wants to do is retract the 5-bedroom design and go with the 3 with a deed restriction for 3 bedrooms. The concern was the number of rooms in the house, which if you look up the definition for bedrooms, I believe it's the number of rooms divided by 2 and you round down, which made it 5 because there was 11 rooms in the house. But a lot of the rooms, really, if they wanted to use them as a bedroom, don't work. They're more of a hallway. You have to go through the room to get to a bedroom. So we wanted to go with the smaller system, save money, and just go with the deed restriction to keep it at 3 bedrooms. And then the only upgrade approval was going from 4 to 2 feet with the Presby system on the separation of groundwater.
Okay, thank you. So let me look, a couple of questions on this one. I see the tank is just 50 feet from the well, which is the minimum. So I just think that's a concern for the installer to make sure they don't think to move the pipe tank up and go straight into the side. We've had problems with that before, not paying attention to the well and getting it too close.
Yep.
Also, the system is just 105 feet from the well, so it's another thing that will just make sure they lay it out or it's measured properly before installation.
Right.
I guess I'll go back to the groundwater going to 2 feet. I know you're allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at your two in your elevations. The water table is the same 46 inches in each of them, even though one's almost a foot higher. So you took the higher elevation, but the system's over the other hole. So if you do the math, I mean, I really think you're probably over 3 feet to water on that perk hole.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to be ultra conservative, but yeah, you're probably right.
Right, so I think with a 2-foot variance, I guess it'd be all right on that one. And I guess the last thing is the bedroom. It's kind of a unique thing, I guess, if somebody asking for the less one. I don't know if I really agree financially for them. I think you'd get a much better value of the house to put the 5-bedroom in, and the system would last much longer, but
yeah, I think he's not worried about that because the house is staying in the family. He's not selling it.
okay. It is in a zone B from Edward's notes, I believe. So, I mean, I guess that would be a factor if you're looking to put less bedrooms in a zone B. That would lean more towards me agreeing, I guess, because it is in a zone B and you want to put less bedrooms.
Right.
But I guess there was one other question. I guess there was 2 kitchens in this house. Have you been into the property? Ed said there was 2 kitchens.
I haven't been in, no. I wasn't aware of that.
Okay. I know kitchens don't count as bedrooms and flow, but I just don't want them to try to keep 5 bedrooms in this house when it's only designed for 3, because it's only going to fail and it's not going to help your client.
Right.
If they put more bedrooms in this house,
Yep.
it's just going to make the system fail. So I guess that's my thinking. Again, I would like to see him go with 5 bedrooms, but I guess I would agree if they want to really go with 3 on this one.
Yeah, Niles discussed it with the client, and he was adamant with sticking to the 3.
Okay. I'll turn it over to Bob Palucci. Questions, comments?
I think we might have lost Bob again.
Okay, Chris Spratt, we'll go to you, Chris.
Yeah, I would just, the concern about the bedrooms a little bit would just be like, I know they want to go with a smaller system to save some money, but I would hope that it's abundantly clear that if they do either use it as a 2-family or expand beyond it, they're just going to cost themselves more money in the long run. But I don't see any, where like Derek and Ed brought up the Zone B, it is better, but I would just make sure it's abundantly clear, what it'll cost them in the long run.
Yeah, they were definitely notified of that. Niles let them know.
Okay, any other questions, Chris? That was it?
No, that's it.
Yeah, and I think the 5-bedroom thing that I would be really concerned about is if they were tearing down a house on a small lot that only had 2 bedrooms and wanted to build a new house with 20 rooms in it. Obviously, I think that's where that is really not allowed. You're really pushing it there. But this is pre-existing house. They're not tearing it down or anything. They're just using what's here, correct?
Yes.
Edward, I'll go to you. Comments on this one?
Yeah, just what you said, my concern too was the 5 bedrooms, because, like I said, that there is a second kitchen on the second floor. And, I mean, they are bedrooms. I mean, they are rooms that you could put a bed in. Whether you put a bed in there or a desk in there is the question. And, like I said, if it's not so much that he's going to keep it in the family, we're thinking of the next owner after his family. So if he gives it to his daughter, that's fine. But if his daughter decides to sell it in 10 years, someone could very easily move in there, rent out the second floor, have 2 bedrooms on the second floor, 3 bedrooms on the first floor, and have a 5-bedroom house. So that was my concern.
Yeah, and I guess we
Okay.
would just have to, obviously they'd be liable for that, I guess, because since they're putting in the deed restriction, it's all we can really do.
Right, but a deed restriction, we're not going to know that. I mean, normally if you get a building permit, it kind of triggers it'll go through the Board of Health if you're doing an addition of some kind, and that's when we kind of catch things. In this situation, there's no way for us to know whether there's 10 people in that house or 2.
Right, but at least with the deed restriction, the liability wouldn't fall on either us or the town, because they're aware of the number of bedrooms that they're restricted to.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. See if we can catch Bob quick enough before he drops again. Bob, you there?
You're on mute, Bob. You're on mute.
Okay, how's that?
There you go.
Good.
All right,
Bob.
I tried on my phone this time. So I missed most of it, but it came in at the end of Ed, and that was my real only concern too. I mean, in 11 years, I've never had anybody ask to design for less bedrooms that are in the house. There's like he said, I mean, there'd be no way to know all of a sudden. I don't know. It's like somebody with a 3-bedroom saying, I'm only going to use 1. So I'll put a deed restriction on, and I'm only going to put a 1-bedroom in. I don't know what the technical law is on that, but it just doesn't sound right to me.
My guess is that somebody bought it. they might expand with the amount of land here. And we would probably, which would trigger us knowing about it and building knowing about it, I think. I mean, it's over 8 acres. I would imagine they would expand something if they were really going to use it, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess that was the thing. If it's 8 acres, what's preventing you from doing a 5-bedroom? You've got plenty of area.
That's true. That's true too. There's arguments on both sides of this, I think.
Okay. Bob, did you hear it is in a zone B? I think that was only the one thing that was kind of making me see their argument, because less bedrooms in the zone B is obviously better for the pond. It's a pretty good argument. That's about the only one I could see.
Yeah, I mean that is, yeah, I just pulled this up now that I got back on. Yeah, I mean, I guess if Nate can put something in the folder or do something that even if they came in to do a renovation, any type of permit on the house would trigger an inspection to make sure bedrooms weren't added, maybe. Like I said, in 11 years, no one's ever come and asked about this, so I don't know. There's nothing set up for this type of situation, but I could, if we're able to do something like that with Nate, I think I'd be more comfortable anyway.
Okay, thank you. Chris, any other comments? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any other suggestions. I mean, it's only 5 rows less, right? I mean, I know savings is savings. I get it. Yeah, maybe what Bob said, we find some way of putting something in the folder because that's the only concern is if somebody uses it, that, for what it's not intended for. How do we catch that?
Correct. And if they do it, I mean, it's just going to fail the system. So they have no advantage of doing it because the system's not designed for that flow. And they're going to be back in 5 years doing a perk to put a new system in. So, I mean, I think it's really on the homeowner to use it what it's designed for, or they're going to be paying for a new system. And now the property is going to be restricted to a 3-bedroom. Something you'd have to get removed in the future if they wanted to redo the system and expand again. But again, if it's what they want and seeing it's in a zone B, I think, and we get something in the building department file for this, just so everybody is aware of it and it doesn't get missed anywhere, I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I can go along with that. That's my only concern. So if we can get some type of notice to Nate and get something in the actual folder, that I think that would be great.
Okay, and I am fine with the water, the separations for water on this one also. Did you have that on this one? Yes, because it's the Presby. Okay. Do we have anybody else in Facebook to comment on this one? I see no one.
No comments on Facebook.
Okay, thank you. Chris, would you like to make a motion at all on that one?
Yep. Make a motion to approve a subsurface sewage disposal system upgrade at 64 Lakeside Ave with variance from groundwater from 4 to 2 and the 40% reduction in system size. And also that a letter be placed in the building department file just as a warning if there was any changes, because this will have a 3-bedroom deed restriction also with it.
Yep, I'll second that with the 3-bedroom deed restriction.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, Bob Palucci,
Aye.
Chris Spratt,
Aye.
Derek Maxim, aye. Okay, thank you for that one, Tom. I believe you're on to the next one again.
Yep.
Oldfield Estates, meet with Zenith Consulting Engineers, discuss variance to Lakeville local bylaw. If you Want to just speak to that one?
Yeah. So it is a 40B development with, I believe it's 14 units, all duplexes. And the issue is that some of the lights on the site, the light posts, are going to be within 5 feet of the system. So we want to ask for a waiver from that local regulation. I don't think none of them are actually going to be in the system. They all have some separation. It's just less than 5 feet. A couple of them would be inside the overdig, but nothing that would affect the actual system.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Just a couple of things on it, maybe for clarification for the board or comments on it. This is a Lakeville regulation, 2.6, it says, and it says to be within 5 feet of any component like a sonotube, deck footing, shed with a concrete piers in it, etc. To be within 5 feet of any component, which we have stuck to all the time. I was out there this morning and met with Paul Turner. These aren't like street lighting with a 4-foot concrete base in the ground and a 20-foot pole on it. This is literally a plastic post, 18 inches in the ground with a direct burial wire going to it, kind of going over the system and within the 5 feet of the overdig of the system. I don't believe, since I've been on the board, that that's what that regulation had referred to. I think that was only referring to something that went 4 feet in the ground as a permanent structure, like a deck footing, not a lamp pole that's just 18 inches in the ground and can be easily lifted and removed. I just would like to have the board's comments on that before we see if we need to vote on this. I'll turn it over to you first.
Who, me?
You can go, Bob. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Bob.
yep. Yeah, that's how I interpret that too. I mean, this is kind of a double-edged sword. It's a 40B, and he could ask for waivers from any local regs anyway, because it is. Yeah, I believe that was the intent of that. Something that's permanent, that, you know, like that carport that time or something that, you know, would be a big issue if the septic system had to get replaced or repaired. You know, this doesn't sound like it'd be any big deal at all if they had to pull it up and while they worked on the septic system. So I wouldn't have a problem with this.
Okay, Bob. But do you think that regulation would apply to this lamp pole? I'm just looking for if we need to do a vote, but we're just saying that 2.6 regulation doesn't apply to a lamp pole 18 inches in the ground, I guess is what I'm trying to go with.
I mean, I guess it would be a question because we wouldn't want it in the middle of a field where it could be in a component or could do something. So, I mean, I think maybe we should just vote so it sets a precedent, and then if somebody else has something, they'd have to come back and talk to us instead of just doing it.
Okay. Chris Spratt, comments on that one?
So Derek, these are pretty much just like driveway lights, right?
It's exactly what it is. It's a plastic
Okay.
PVC pole. It's a little driveway light. It's 18 inches in the ground. It's not I know it does say street lighting, but it's not a street light. It's a little driveway lantern.
Now, is there a setback to the property lines or the pavement for these?
I'm not sure. On some of the subdivisions, they do require that as the roadway lighting and the covenants of the subdivision. I'm not sure on this project. if
Right,
that's
for
what
lines
it
of
is.
sight and stuff, but where these are smaller, would these even affect lines of sight? Because I can move them a little bit closer to the street, then, you know, everyone's happy.
I think what they're trying to do is they're right next to the driveway. So they want to place them like 5 feet off the edge of the driveway and 10 feet off the road. And that's just where they're lining up to where the systems are all the way down this road. And again, it could be a little bit in the line of sight. Like you said, if you did, you're going to see a lamp. They're like 4x4 or 6x6 white PVC posts. So it could be a tiny side issue, I guess, if you put it right at the edge of the road where you're driving out. And it could be covenants where they're supposed to be placed in the subdivision. That I don't know. Maybe Tom might know that one.
I'm not aware of that one. I don't believe there is, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's no sidewalk on that side, right? I don't see it. I don't think.
No, there's no sidewalk.
But again, I don't think it has any, it's not detrimental to the system by any means. It's just 18 inches in the ground and can be easily removed if we do grant the variance, if they have to do it. And it's on the reserve trench even. It's not even on the actual, I think most of them are on the overdig of the reserve trench.
Right, and if they had to go into the reserve, we can move the light post to where the old system was.
Yeah, if they have to actually dig up the system, that light post is coming out regardless because it's going to rip up the lamp pole line that goes to the house. So
Yeah, just move it.
It's coming out of the ground. There's no way it's staying to redo the system.
Yeah, I don't mind the waiver to it either. I was just curious if there was any leeway with the roadway surface where it's just a street like a driveway light, not a full size street light. That's new to me. I haven't heard that one before.
Is it low voltage or is it regular power?
Tom, do you know that one? I think it was just a regular actual bulb in it, 110,
Yeah.
and I had a photo sensor to the house that came on and off at dusk, I believe.
Yeah, I believe, it's just regular.
Yeah, because low voltage, I would just say that's landscaping and I wouldn't care about that. And I mean, I don't mind doing this. I just think we should just vote on it so we don't, open up a door that now people think they can do anything and maybe they don't understand something that could be an issue versus what could not be an issue.
I agree.
I agree. That's fine, Bob. I'll just
Okay.
Ed, comments on this one, Ed? I think you were thinking the same.
Yeah, I would just, it's not so much the light, but just the conduit as well. I mean, you don't want to get that saturated. So, I would just try to keep the conduit as far away from the system as possible. Because, if you do the overdig and you do get a large, a lot of showers or whatever, it could get saturated there for a while. So, make some effort to keep it waterproof, the conduit or something.
And the conduit should be able to be routed outside of 5 feet other than where it comes directly into the light.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't go directly towards the house, go towards the street, under the driveway and around.
Right.
Okay, thank you for that, Ed. I believe they were asking for variances on all the lots in there at this one time, if I'm correct. Is that right, Tom?
Right, yeah, we were looking for a blanket variance for all the units.
Because they all kind of fall in the same spot, going all the way down the road, which I'm fine with doing it at once. Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the local variance for Old Field House Estates, blanket variance to be done at every home. And that's it.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob Blucci?
Aye. Aye.
Chris Pratt?
Aye.
Chris Pratt? Derek Maxim? Aye. Okay, thank you, Tom. And I believe you're still on, Tom, for the next one.
Yes.
4 Old Potter House Road, continued discussion from September 16th, 2020 with Zenith Consulting Engineers to discuss request variances. We did receive a letter today asking for an extension to this. to the next meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, I think we're still waiting on some correspondence with DEP.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Our next meeting is October 21st, 2020 at 6 p.m. Bob Palucci, you okay continuing this to that meeting?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Chris Spratt,
Yeah, I'm okay.
like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we continue this until our October 21st meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Bob Palucci,
Aye.
Chris Spratt,
Aye.
Derek Maxim, aye. Thank you, Tom. I think you're finally done, Tom.
Yes, all right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
Have a good night. Next on the agenda, new trash hauler. United Material Management Incorporated, United Hauling Incorporated. Don't believe anybody's on the line for that one, so I'll turn it over to you, Ed. Do they have everything they need and they all set for approval tonight?
Correct. They've filed all their paperwork and it's just up for you guys to approve it.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on that, Bob?
I'm
Comment?
good.
Chris?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on Facebook? Any comment on this one?
No comments on Facebook.
Okay, thank you. Chris, do you have the paperwork in front of you to make a motion?
I do. Make a motion, we give a new trash hauler license to United Materials Management Incorporated, doing business as United Hauling Incorporated, 200 Frybury Parkway, Suite 4001, Westboro, Mass.
I'll second that. But can I ask Ed a question? This says that they merged with our licensed trash hauler. So they already had a license and we're just allowing them to expand their business they're doing?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because there was Gordon rubbish removal. That was already, yeah.
Okay, yep, I second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, Bob Palucci,
Aye.
Chris Spratt,
Aye.
Derek Maxim, aye. Okay, thank you for that. We're gonna go down to old business. Chris, I'm gonna turn it over to you. 43D committee update discussion. Did you meet since our last one? And do you have anything to tell the board?
So we haven't met since the last time we had a meeting, but there's been a couple developments. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that Maureen Candido is no longer with the town. And she was not just our town administrator, she was also the project coordinator for the committee. So right now we're in the process of trying to find someone to replace her. So that's one thing. And then Monday night selectmen's meeting, they did approve the contract and to hire environmental partners to be the peer review for it, which I think is from what I'm hearing, it's a pretty good idea to have them. They're like a one-stop shop as far as all the engineering needs that we're going to need. I don't know if you guys had any comments about that part, but yeah, there's not a lot of new updates right now.
Okay.
No,
thank you.
that'll actually work out good because Nick Laney's retiring at the end of the year, so we're gonna need to find somebody else when we need a review engineer anyway.
Yeah, we haven't worked with them before, but Mark Knox, the chair of the planning board and also the chair of the 43D committee. He's done some work with them in the past, and there's a couple other people that had some positive things to say about them. So yes, it is good with Nick moving on to have some other people out there, other resources to use for review.
Okay, thank you for that update. I had no other questions. So we'll just continue that to the next meeting and see if there's more updates at that time. I'll jump down to the next one. Review and approve meeting minutes as typed for August 19th, 2020. I've read them. I'm fine with them. Bob Palucci.
Yep, I'm fine with them.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I'm good.
Like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the Board of Health meeting minutes for August 19th, 2020 as typed.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob Palucci,
Aye.
Chris Pratt,
Aye.
Derek Maxim, aye. Okay, that
Guys,
is it.
can I just jump, can I ask that it put on discussion of a new review engineer at our next meeting though? Now that we brought that up, I think we should, formally talk about that because, big project like that, big companies, that's what they do. But we run into a lot of stuff on the Board of Health that it's just a septic that's it's just over our ability. And like I know what Nick Laney charged $1,200 for. We got a price once years ago from another engineer that wanted like $6,000. So I think we should, discuss it formally on the meeting and then maybe, consider getting some bids from some people that if they want to do review work for us.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, because environmental parts, the dollar amount for this is a little high, but higher, I should say. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who else is out there. Maybe I can reach out and see who else is out there, smaller local guys that are doing review.
Yeah, even a semi-retired guy or something. I mean, it's just, it's nothing against the big guys, but they have to get the money because they have, so much overhead. And, if you're doing a $5 million project and you got to pay the money, you got to pay the money. But if you're just putting in a septic system, like next door to the town hall there, and, just because it goes over the gallons or something, we just, I just remember before there was another engineer working with the town, another big company. And when he sent us a price to do a septic system, we already had Nick in the books and we checked it and it was a big difference. So for, a little local person in town trying to do something, I just want to be able to try to save them some money if we can.
Okay, yeah, great idea also, Bob. I think we should look into it. Because I believe as of right now, Nick Laney is not taking any more clients. He's only finishing up what he has. So anything that comes into our office now, we will have to find somebody else to review over the gallonage. Ed, any comment on that?
No, I agree with Bob. There's definitely overpricing to some municipalities. So it's good to get several bids rather than just one.
Okay, so put that on the next meeting, and if you know of anyone interested, please refer the name to us for the next meeting so we can try to find someone and get them on board as quickly as possible.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Ed just for a triple E update and a COVID-19 update. And then after the COVID-19 update, we did get the request from the selectmen to discuss trick-or-treating at the Board of Health and voice our opinion on it. So I'd like to do that also, but I'll go to Ed first.
So for the COVID-19 update, we've had 5 new cases in the past week. 2 of those were in the schools, so that's a total of 3 that we've had in the schools now. We have a total of 7 active cases right now, and not in the school, 7 active cases in all of the town, which brings us to a total of 90 cases. So we've had quite a few, both this week and the previous weeks. We've had definitely an increase in cases. We are at risk of going into the red. The numbers have not come out yet, but when we get signaled into a high-risk community, we are no longer eligible for the step 2 of phase 3. Right now, we are considered a low-risk community, but if we do 3 weeks in the red, which we possibly could do this week, we will have to take a step back, which is going to be tough for a lot of the restaurants and stuff like right now, because they're making changes to accommodate this, and they can expand their business, and they're trying to get extra income. So we really have to make an effort because we got to keep these guys going, and like it's up to us. Although it's the restaurants that gets punished. Most of the data out there, the cases are not coming from restaurants. Yeah, the restaurants are doing the part, the schools are doing the part. Although we have cases in schools, it does not look like the cases are being transmitted in the school. It's just they're getting it outside and then just coming into the school. So in both cases, most of the transmission seems to be from informal gatherings, whether small parties or large parties, indoors. So that's what we really got to crack down on. And you know, so if anyone is planning to go to something like that or planning on doing something like that, just we really got to think of the community as a whole, because like I said, our whole community is going to suffer now if we get knocked down back to a high-risk community. It affects the whole community, affects the businesses in the community as well. As for Halloween, the state does not have any restrictions on trick-or-treating or anything like that. You know, as in general, like what I just said about informal gatherings, the most dangerous things you can do are indoor parties. So as Halloween goes, we would recommend that kids go outside, wear a mask, limit their interactions with the people giving them. So you go up, you get your candy, you move on. There's a lot less likelihood of a transmission there than someone who spends 2 hours indoors at a party with 20 other people. That's a very high risk thing, the indoor parties. Going out, being outside, wearing a mask, you know, staying apart, that's a lot safer. So we don't want to, I wouldn't recommend canceling trick-or-treating in any ways, but I would just, I would advise people not to have large indoor parties. And even for those who are trick-or-treating, obviously common sense. If you are sick, you should not be giving out the candy. If your kid is sick, you should not be sending them out into the street. So just make sure your kids are healthy before you go out. And anyone giving out candy, make sure you're using hand sanitizer before you give it out. And like I said, make sure you're not sick and that you've had no major interactions with anyone that is sick prior to, in the week or 10 days prior to you giving out candy, because like I said, you don't want to be getting kids sick. So just try to take those measures into place, and that's all we can say.
Okay, thank you, Ed. The update, Bob, do you have any comments on the COVID or Halloween?
No, I'm actually surprised the state's letting them do that, and I'm happy they are. I think I think Ed covered all the bases on that for people. Just be safe, let the kids have a normal night, and just don't go in houses, and we should go off without a hitch. And just to add on a little bit to Ed, if we go red, it's not our decision if we have to enforce stricter policies on our restaurants and our businesses. It's a state mandate. So we don't want to do it. I've said at multiple meetings, we got to support our local businesses. And, you know, I just want to reiterate that with Ed. I mean, I think that's very important. You know, something happens and people think they're invincible and no, I didn't get it. And even if I did, it's not a big deal. And, you know, but the effect that it will have on the town, you know, if we want those places to be there and open back up in the spring at full force, we need to do our part to help them and just be a little patriotic.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Chris, comments?
Yeah, actually, as far as the COVID stuff, the newer positive cases, do we know if it's the kids, the families of like, is it like all the cases related to the kids that are tested positive at the schools? Is it the same families, and that's kind of were they all showing up together?
No, I mean there's cases outside of the school as well. It's not
Okay.
you know.
And as far as Halloween goes, I mean, I agree. It's outside, and if you're using the precautions that are already out there, we should be okay. And I agree with that too. That like, you know, if we cancel it or tell kids they can't do it, they're just going to move indoors, and that's even worse. So I think it's good that the state's not doing anything about it because, you know, we're encouraging outdoor activity, it's what it is. So just, just reiterate again, just keep doing the safe practices and hopefully things will get better. Just this past weekend, I saw businesses are people are getting out there more. And like Bob said, especially those restaurants, they need that support. I keep seeing, I used to work in Boston a lot, and more restaurants and bars in Boston are closing and closing. Like landmarks are closing. So we do need to support these people as best we can.
Okay, thank you for that, Chris and Bob. I agree. So I think we should stick with the state mandate to Halloween, and I think it's a good idea for the kids to get out also. So we don't need to take a vote or anything because we're going with the CDC guidelines. But if we could, Ed, seeing the selectmen did send us something in writing today, could we send them a letter in the morning saying we discussed this and we are all unanimous on allowing trick-or-treating and Halloween to go forward? And maybe you can just put some of your recommendations in writing for them, because I'm sure they'll read it at their meeting again before Halloween.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Did you have any other comments, Ed?
The Tripoli and West Nile. So Tripoli is the risk of Tripoli is very low right now. There is still a risk for West Nile. They say till the middle of October. So we still have another week or so of that. So still take some precautions there, but it's definitely a lot lower than it was.
Yeah, we had a couple of frosts, but not a really good hard one yet.
No.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Chris, any comments, anything before we end?
No, I'm good.
Bob Lucci, comments before we end?
I'm all set.
Okay. Somebody'd like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, Bob Lucci,
Aye.
Chris Pratt,
Aye.
Derek Maxim, aye. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Good night.